Hello there, Facebookers. Hello there, Instagrammers. It's so good to be here with you. I'm Donna Hoffman. They call me the Interior Design Advocate because I love to advocate on behalf of all women like you, design lovers, whose design results may not be hitting the mark. You might be frustrated with the way rooms are looking or your whole home is looking, despite the fact that you are pinning pin boards and you are surfing house and you're doing everything you think you're supposed to be doing, but you're not following us. Well, let us take you under our wing and we get you empowered with great strategies. And every Tuesday, Katie and I and my whole team, we stop what's going on here at our luxury interior design company, and we come out here and we teach you a lesson on something, and we take questions on that lesson. And I see all kinds of waves coming in on Instagram. Hi guys, great to see you, and all kinds of hellos happening on Facebook, so that's great too. Oh, you know what, Katie, I forgot to pop one for you and pop one for me. Ah, it's LaCroix time. Here we go. Pamplemousse. That's with grapefruit, the best. Sorry, guys. We're thirsty bunnies in the studio today. So, yeah. So what are we talking about? Hang on. Ah, love that stuff. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about window treatments, where people, women, smart women, brilliant women like you, and rooms that you're working on, where they go wrong on window treatments. And let me tell you, the list is long. And and I'm not even going to mention custom versus semi-custom versus ready-made. That's not where I'm going. I'm talking about some major decisions that you're making or not making that are screwing up your rooms and really stopping your rooms from being too completely gorgeous. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is that one of the big places that rooms and women are going wrong in designing when window treatments are concerned is leaving the window bare, not because it's a design decision. Let's say you're uber modern and you want an untreated window. That's one thing. But I'm talking about where windows are left bare or barely treated or untreated or undertreated because you're afraid to make a decision, because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, or I love hearing this one, I don't want to block my view. All right, we got to get rid of that myth right off the bat. I don't know who came up with that. I don't know if it was some well-meaning design blogger or design Instagrammer, but if you design a window treatment properly, lovelies, you do not block your view. You actually frame your view and you enhance your view, and you enhance that massive and expensive and gorgeous focal point in a room called the window. When you design your window treatments properly, and by design I mean select and shop, right? I'm not talking about necessarily doing custom window treatments. When I say design and select, I mean semis or ready-mades. But when you do it right, you stay off the glass with your panel. You stay off the glass to a certain degree with a shade or with a valance. So huge mistake is leaving that window undertreated or untreated, not because you have made a deliberate design decision. Hey, this is a Soho loft, or hey, this is an uber modern Cali casual, residence I'm doing or room that I'm doing. I want an untreated window specifically as part of my design paradigm. That's different. But I'm talking about thinking that you're actually going to make a mistake and it's terrifying you, so you do nothing, or you're telling yourself, hey, I don't want to block my view. Maybe somebody said that as, I don't know, somewhere because they really didn't know what they were doing and they wanted to justify. So that's one huge mistake. Another big mistake, oh, and last thing I'm going to say on the lack of window treatment in a room. When you do not do window treatments in a room in a design style that really should have window treatments, even if they're super simple, when you don't do it, it's like drawing a face and forgetting to draw on the eyebrows and the upper lip. Something just looks bare and unfinished. And when you add that window treatment, it's amazing what happens. And I'll tell you, here in the luxury design world, it's always amazing to us. Our clients get super excited when they see their furniture coming in. They can spend tens of thousands, multiple tens of thousands of dollars in one room of furniture. But until the window treatments go in, the rooms look bare, cold, underdone, and undone. Okay, so window treatments are that powerful in the lineup of stars in the parade for your total room design. Another big mistake I see, proportion problems. Either it's overpowering the windows too much on that window, or more commonly, it's underpowering the window. It's too small. Proportion issues are really important to make sure that you are proportional to the window itself, or the French door, or the slider, or the triple window, or the double window, right? The treatment has to be proportional to the window itself. The next big mistake I see happening is, and this is generally with ready-mades, either the treatment is too short or it's too long. Ideal length for a panel is going to be grazing the floor, perhaps with like a 1 1/8 inch break or a 3/4 inch break, or just grazing the floor. If it's operational, meaning it's going to open and close, well, then you're going to be settling just above the floor at about 1/4 inch, which makes sense, right? Because you have to be able to open and close that window treatment. But I'm talking about something that looks like flood pants, right? Way too short or way too long. We've got this, 3, 4, 5 inch puddle. Puddling is just not happening. So proportion issues, too long, too short, or not treating that window, not because it's a deliberate decision, but because you're just feeling like your knees are knocking, you don't know what to do, so you're doing nothing at all. Or maybe you've told yourself the mistruth that unless I can go custom, it's not worth doing. There are a lot of things that you can do that don't involve very expensive custom workrooms, really expensive fabrics and treatments. Okay, so that leads me to, before I open things up to your questions, that leads me to a little announcement. Beep, 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 beep. Hence the celebratory LaCroix and Pamplemousse. Save the date, my lovelies, because on Saturday, February 23rd, and I made it on a Saturday, this is the first time ever, we are doing a live, huge design immersion for you, and we did it on Saturday so that if you work 9 to 5 during the week, you can still join us. It's going to be in the middle of the day, East Coast time, so West Coast lovelies can also join. That's all I'm going to tell you right now, but if window treatments is something that's important to you, I'm getting some hearts and loves here. If that's important to you, let me tell you, you don't want to miss this event, and tickets will be going on sale in about 2.5 to 3 weeks, and we'll be releasing more information about that soon, so you don't want to miss it. It's a one-off. You miss it, you miss it, but it's going to be pretty darn cool, and there are some really interesting moving parts happening with it, and the best part is you can do it from the safety and delight of your own home in your own PJs. Alrighty, so there you go. Alrighty, if you have questions about window treatments, window coverings, I'll take those questions now till it's time for us to sign off. I've got a committee meeting to get to for a charity I work on, and I just don't want to let you know too while I'm waiting for questions, or I'll look at questions next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about the ugly truth about decorating. Yes, the ugly truth about decorating. I love interior design or decorating, whatever you call it, but let me tell you something. There's some ugly truths around that people aren't always willing to talk about or acknowledge, and we're going to be popping those myths and those bubbles next week, and taking some questions on that topic as well. But right now, if there are any questions on window coverings, I'm happy to take those. I'm getting hellos from Jennifer and Nancy. Hello, guys. Nancy's saying that she's guilty of not treating her window. I assume that's what this comment means, not because Nancy doesn't want to treat the window, she's afraid to treat the window. Nancy, there's no fear in design. This is it's all about getting you guys brave and in the driver's seat, right? And doing gorgeous things. I'm getting a hello from Sabea. Sabea said, I got a circle sofa and don't know what to do for others sitting in my small living room. Sabea, I'm going to take questions on this topic, and I'll circle back if there's time to non-topic specific questions, because I want to make sure everybody who has a window question can get that answered. And please, if you are on Instagram, hello Mitra and Deb Nelson, hello. If you have a question that you want to send in, Katie will feed those over to me. All right, so let's see. Nose itch, hold on. Okay, Linda McCone wants to know, plantation shutters, are they enough alone, or do you dress them up with panels? So Linda, here's the story with plantation shutters. They're a great product, and I'll tell you what, when the economy got wonky a number of years ago, plantation shutters were still selling, and they were holding their value. They're really architectural. They seem to be kind of timeless, although the shutter, the slat size, has changed through the years. Sorry, I don't know why my nose is so itchy. So with shutters, they're technically supposed to do this, right? They're supposed to open, closed on the window, and then they open out. So technically, doing panels with shutters is not the most logical choice. However, I do it a lot. Here's why. You don't have to. The look is totally fine alone, and I do them alone as well. But if you feel that a room has so much hard surface in it, if you feel that you want to create some nice vertical columns of fabric, because that's really what your panels do, guys. They create these wonderful columns that run through a room, 2 of them or 4 of them, or however many windows you have in a room. And you really want to try to lift that ceiling and create, again, another textural note by having this wonderful pattern, color, or just soft drape of something. That's when you can add those panels. Now here's the story. We're working on a really cool house that was built, I want to say, what do you think Steph's house was, like 1918 or so? Something like that. I'm getting to something like that nod from Katie. And really large bay windows. And for cost purposes right now, we're doing just shutters. But the idea is that eventually we will be adding panels to those bays, just to add a little more softness to these spaces. And also it's an opportunity to, with window treatments, connect furniture, or add another color, or add another pattern, or drive a particular rhythm or mood in a room with those treatments. That's a great question, Linda. I hope I answered you on that. Nancy is saying, in a room where my windows have white shutters, I've left the kitchen patio door untreated. I'm afraid. Oh, now listen, Nancy, you bring up a great point. I don't always treat the door. If I have a French, what's going on here? If I have a French door that is in a room, in a kitchen, or even just a simple glass door that's in a kitchen. For example, Katie and I last year just finished up a really cool first floor of a home, and we, at the end of the kitchen where the table was a bank of windows on a flat wall. On a side wall there were windows, and then there was a door on another wall. And we just did simple valances, beautiful views outside that we wanted to really maximize. There was no need for panels. There was no need for getting anything fussy. For foot traffic purposes, we really didn't want to have fabric, at the floor level where that door was being opened and closed. Because it didn't have side lights, it was just a glass door. So we left the door untreated completely. It looked fabulous. So I don't want you to feel like you have to treat the door just because you did shutters elsewhere, okay, in that same space. A door can either be tied in with what you've done on your other windows, or it can be left as its own bare, untreated note and still look fine, fine, fine. So don't worry about that. No longer be afraid, Nancy. Boop. There, I just gave you the magic wand of courage. All right. Betty's saying hello. Lori's saying, I have a problem with the names of window treatments other than panels. I really don't know what's what. Lori, girl, you got to join us on February 23rd and mark your calendar, because you will be a window treatment boss by the end of that immersion. So your problem, Lori, is not uncommon. It can get really confusing. And some people start to use the same word to mean different treatments. And once you learn the key types of soft treatments and hard treatments, it gets really easy. But I need some visuals to be able to teach you that, Lori. And I'm diving into that on the 23rd. So, pow. Barbara is asking me, who makes ready-mades for 8-foot ceilings? Barbara, we have a whole resource list that we're putting together for the 23rd that will list that. And I honestly don't remember off the top of my head who that is, but we have a 50 resource list for ready-mades and semi-customs. Here's the deal with the 8-foot ceilings. All right, Katie, how many inches is 8 feet? Isn't that 86? It's 96 inches, yeah. Right? So here's the problem with 8-foot ceilings and ready-mades. So you got 96 inches, and most ready-mades come in 96 and 84s and 96s. So if you have an 84, likely it could be too short for you, right? But if you have a 96-inch ceiling, let me make sure I'm saying my numbers right. Hold the phone, boom, boom, boom. 12 times 8. Yes, 96. You hang a 96-inch panel in a room with a 96-inch ceiling. Think about this. Let's say you've got 96 inches to your ceiling. What if you have crown molding and that crown comes down another 6 inches, right? So now you're now from floor to where the crown stops, you're at 90 inches. And then maybe you want to breathe off that crown by 1 inch or 2, and you've got a rod. Let's say you do 1 inch rod plus the ring, 1 1/4 inch ring. That treatment is going to hang lower and lower and lower. So you end up with a window panel that looks like it melted on the floor. It's too long. So the answer is going to be that you are going to need to do some hemming, some hand hemming. You can do it right on the spot, or you can pin it and bring it to your local tailor and ask her to do that. I've seen my tailor doing things like that. So that's the kind of one of the workarounds with ready-mades, but that's a great question. Okay, so Kimberly is asking, hey, and listen, Instagram, if you have questions, don't be shy. You can put them in there. Don't just give me waves and love. I love you back and I'm waving to you back. But if you have a question, you can type it in and Katie can get it to me. Okay, Kimberly is saying, I have a dark gray comfort in my bedroom and I'm trying to decide on the color for curtains. Should I do gray or a color? Kimberly, that's such a good question, but it's actually a big question. I would need to see a picture to be able to answer you well. Here are some things I want you to think about. What's happening on the floor? What's happening on that rug? What is your design fingerprint? Do you like a lot of color in a room? Do you like a lot of pattern in a room? What are you trying to accomplish aesthetically with that window treatment? Yeah, you might be trying to create privacy, right? Or light control, being able to open and close this, but design-wise, what are you trying to do? Do you want it to sink into your wall? So it just kind of is part of that wall color. It's very close to the color of the wall. Or do you want it to jump off the wall? Do you want it to lift off the wall with the pattern that you broadcast on it? So it's not just a question of me picking an answer out of the air. These are important questions to consider and that we consider when we're designing window coverings. And then, of course, we look at the whole spread of colors and textures and patterns and fabrics in the room in total. That's a great question already, and I hopefully gave you some things to think about there, Kim. Cindy is saying, I'm about to move across the country, so I will be putting all new window treatments. What is the fastest way to get them up? I always find myself taking hours in the process. Help. Well, Cindy, here's the story. First of all, congratulations on your move, right? Everybody, we're congratulating and applauding you on your move and wishing you all blessings and good luck. So I hope you've calculated window coverings into the cost of your move and refurnishing this new home. Nobody ever does that. Everybody always underestimates what it will cost to furnish and fill a home, not the least of which are those window coverings. So in the design world, to answer your question, in the design world, you either pay for things with money or with sweat equity. You want to get this done fast, then go to a semi-custom resource that can come in, measure your windows, get some blinds up on those windows pretty quickly. And you know, I'm going to be doing some layering with those after the blinds or shades. I'm going to add, some panels or some valances or something. Okay. You want to do it really fast, hire somebody else to do it. And certainly a resource like Smith & Noble is a good semi-custom online resource. Here's the thing, and if you are from Smith & Noble, please, I love you. It's not a criticism, it's just hearsay. I have heard clients and students that I work with, women that I work with, I've heard some complaints sometimes about some of the installers for some of the online semi-custom window covering groups. Smith & Noble is one of them that's available to you. So what I would say to you is if you call them and say, hey, I need somebody to come out and measure me, can you give me the name of 2 or 3 installers in the area that you work with? Then call those installers, see who gets back to you promptly, do some Google research on that person, ask them for some references, make sure that they are good, right? Because that's all those big retailers, online retailers do, is they contract out to the local workrooms and installers in your area. Question from, final 2 questions. Okay, we're running short on time here. Okay. Okay, Susan, you're getting into measurements, so I'm going to skip over you for a sec, and I'm going to see if there's something I can get to that's a faster question. Sorry, Susan, if you're throwing darts at the computer screen right now, I can feel it. I'm sorry, Susan. Robin's asking, hello, I'm guilty of not treating my kitchen bay windows. I just want something sleek and simple, and my husband says he doesn't like curtains in the kitchen. Yeah, so listen, Robin, there are things you can do, but it's going to be hard to do ready-made. You can do a cool valance in there. You can do what looks like a shade, but really is a valance type product. You can do individual shades. You can do shutters. There's a lot you can do. So don't be afraid of that. I encourage you. I'd love you to join us on the 23rd. I know this is an early invite, but we'll be showing pictures as well as showing design strategies that you use for all kinds of windows, trouble windows, unevenly hung windows, bays, you name it, eyebrows, and so forth. All right, Susan, I'm going to look at your question and see if I can answer you quickly, just because I'm on a time schedule. I got to get to this meeting. Susan's saying I have a 128-inch wide picture window. Got a thumbs up from somebody. Better than flipping me the bird. I don't even know if they have that icon on this. Susan is saying I have a 128-inch picture window and I can't find ready-mades anywhere online or in a store. Of course not. There's a reason for that. Are custom made my only option? No. Custom is fabulous. Look, you get whatever you want, whatever size you want, whatever fabric you want, and it's lined and it's interlined and it's backlined, so you get all this, dimensional fullness. But it's expensive. Do I think it would be great to do custom in a really important room, or a room that's got really intense and unusual windows, a lot of windows? Yeah, it's ideal. But really your workaround, Susan, is going to be that you're going to buy more than one panel. If ready-mades are just not in the cards for Susan, rather than hanging one panel on each side, you're going to hang 2 panels on each side. You're going to build out the number of your panels, because you're right, Susan, you have to have dimensional fullness relative to the width of your window. Now, in the design immersion that we're doing on February 23rd, we'll be selling tickets in a couple of weeks, so just a little tease. I show you how to calculate the ideal stack and width based upon the window you're dealing with, okay? So, but again, I need a little teaching board. I need to be able to show you rather than just tell you. So hopefully that little bit of information I gave you now will be powerful enough to get you moving, Susan. So here's hoping. All right, I'm supposed to not have gone beyond one more question. Here it is, last question to Betty. This is it. No matter how much Katie begs and pleads that I take one more question, she's going to start throwing stuff at me. So I'm going to get a whole LaCroix can, boink, right in the head. Betty wants to know, I have an important question. Okay, this is a couch question, so I'm not going to do it. Last question on window treatments. If you're new to our Facebook Lives, we always try to take questions about the topic rather than just going in a million directions, because then I can kind of derail the topic and then people start getting frustrated. It was a request we had from our peeps. Can you please take questions on the topic? So we try to get to those first. So sorry, Betty, but I'm sending you a hug nonetheless. Mary is saying, what are some options to treat sliders in a dining room? Well, you can always do panels, right? Panels are always easy. And you need to know that with panels, if they have to close, it doesn't have to be a symmetrical hang. You can do an asymmetrical hang. So all your panels are stacked to one side or the other. And you can do, look, you can do verticals. I don't love them. However, Hunter Douglas has some really interesting, more modern, really wide slat verticals. So you can look at those as well. I don't know your design style or your design fingerprint, but that's something you can do as well. But the whole bugaboo with, the bugaboo with sliders is you have things that kind of do this, right? So you can't have anything on the glass. It'll get interrupted as it does this to slide open and close. The whole bugaboo with French doors is they do this, right? So you have to make sure that anything that you have on that door clears to the side, so you have your door swing, right? So sliders don't have to be as complicated as people somehow, but everybody's making sliders more complicated than they need to be. Just stay off the glass, and if it has to close, that's where I would say you should start a little piggy bank account, and maybe you're going to do something semi-custom so you have enough fullness to be able to just draw something across that slider if you need the privacy. If you don't need the privacy, you can do something called a stationary or fixed panel. Does everybody know what that means? Fixed or stationary means it doesn't move. It should look like it could. It should be full enough looking, guys, proportionally, so it should look like it could close on that window, but it doesn't have to. It's built to be stationary. And even in the custom world, gosh, we do stationary panels a lot. Why? Cost. You can cut down on the amount of fabric a little bit, then rings and so forth. So you just build stationary panels that look like they could close, but they really do not. So my dears, I would love to, I see more questions coming in. I'm sorry I don't have time to take more of your questions. I've got to leave to get to this wonderful fundraising gala committee I serve on, where we serve about 3,000 underprivileged children that are high-risk inner city youth and these programs that we do with them are all about educational support. And some of these delicious children, many of them come to us that can barely, look an adult in the eye or complete a sentence, are very shy. And the educational support we do, along with a little bit of tennis too, as a lure to get everybody excited, our kids are getting scholarships to colleges, and they're standing in front of rooms, proudly talking to their peers, doing presentations and talking to adults. And oh my gosh, the transformation is amazing. But I got to get to that meeting because our fundraising gala is in process, and I got some work to do, so I got to go. All right, lovely. So listen, next week we are talking about, yes, the ugly truth about decorating, and I will be taking your questions. Ugly truth about decorating, that's a general topic. Hint, hint. General project questions. You can come with them next week. I'll be able to take those randomized questions, all righty? So the ugly truth about decorating coming. If you like this Facebook Live, please give us a share on Facebook. And also, guys, you can follow us all kinds of places. Check out our YouTube. If you missed last week's Facebook Live or the week before that, go check it out on YouTube. We're out there on YouTube. Yes, we are. Please give us a follow on Instagram if you're not already doing so. We're at We're at decorating.genius on Instagram. You're already there. But at decorating.genius, if you're a Facebook lover and you haven't come over to the dark side, to follow us on Instagram as well. And mark your calendars, February 23rd, Saturday. Cool stuff coming. Okay, dolls, I'm going to scooch out of here and take my LaCroix with me. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.